In this tutorial, we will learn about XPath Axes. An axis is used to locate nodes or elements relative to the current node. Let's try to understand it with an example. Let's go to our sample application. Here, assume that you need to identify an element, say for example, this one, okay? So how do you locate it? Let's inspect this element. Now you can see that the HTML tag corresponding to this element is legend. Okay, so there is an opening tag and there is a closing tag as well, right? In between there is a text, but you don't have any other attribute for this element. So how would you identify this? For locating this, you can use the text function. That is possible, but just assume that this text is a dynamic one. So every time when the page is loaded, this text is different. If that is the scenario, then our case is complicated, right? Because since you don't have any other attributes, it's not possible to identify this element, right? So how would you locate it? So in such a case, you can use XPath Axes. So what we will do is we will look for some other elements that we can locate nearby. Okay, so we can try this one or this one, right? So if it is this one, let us inspect it and find out. Okay, so for this input box, there are some attributes available. Okay, there is ID attribute, okay, and it has got some unique value, right? So with that you can identify the text box, right? And once that is identified, then you are at this particular node, right? So you can write XPath corresponding to the input box, and then you are at that element. Okay, so that's your current node. Now what you do is you define a relationship from this element, this input box, to the element that you're interested in. Okay, so that relationship could be something like before, after, parent, children, or something like that. Okay, and based on that you can identify the element that you're interested in. Okay, so XPath Axes is such a technique. If you're not able to identify one particular element, what you do is you identify some other element nearby, and then you define a relationship to the element that you're interested in. Okay, and then you can find it out.